I'm with David Lucero today, and he's going to share his experience of spine surgery with Dr. Mike Janssen. David, could you just tell us a little bit about what happened to you and your experience?
Sure. My name is David Lucero. I'm 62 years old. I live in Thornton, Colorado, and I have been suffering for about 30 years with what was diagnosed as degenerative disc disease, which caused me a great deal of discomfort and disability over many decades, mostly starting with back spasms that sometimes resulted in a trip to the emergency room and a lot of pain, but they were episodic problems that would come and go throughout the course of a year. And I was unable to really manage them well. I did what I could with my physical conditioning, but it seemed to get worse and worse over time. Eventually, about 5 years ago, I had a tremendous pain shooting down my leg. It ended up in my calf, and it felt like somebody had hit me in the bone with a sledgehammer. I was also bent over and could hardly walk, and I had a lot of pain and swelling in my back. So this was the worst it ever got. Fortunately, I'd already been talking to Michael Janssen, DO of Thornton at the Center for Spine and Orthopedics, and so I already had a physician lined up that could work on me right away when this became a real problem. He recommended a microdiscectomy at that time to relieve the pressure on my nerves, and we did that at the center's surgical wing in an outpatient setting. But it's a complete hospital really on site that they have. And that happened in the early morning hours of a weekday, and it only took about 2 hours to complete that procedure. Immediately I had a complete cessation of all the pain in my leg. I just had to recuperate from the microdiscectomy intrusion, and that took several months to regain my walking properly and my gait and everything. And so after about 3 or 4 months, I was walking properly again, and I never had a spasm since that day. That was about 5 years ago, and I'm completely happy and elated with that procedure. Over time, though, I did develop what felt like arthritis in my lower lumbar region and more generalized pain that turned into a chronic condition. So about 4.5 years after my microdiscectomy, as my pain became more chronic and debilitating, we entered into a pain management system at the center with a couple of the pain management specialists there, Dr. Leo and Dr. Leimbach. And after about a year of pain management, none of which included any narcotics because I'm in a safety sensitive position at my work and I'm on drug testing, so narcotics were never a option for me. And that's a dead-end road anyway. So we did everything we could with physical therapy and pain management techniques, distraction therapy, stretching, yoga, everything else, core amendments and rehab and conditioning. I developed a lot of mental depression from the chronic pain. So since we had gone through all the steps at this point, in the last week of 2020, the doctor performed a double spinal fusion on my L4, L5, and L5S1. And that was done at the hospital. And Dr. Janssen assured me that he would be able to rehab my lower spine and that I would feel like a new man. And that disc replacement for me wasn't an option because of all the natural fusion that had taken place. So we did a pretty comprehensive rehabilitation of my spine at the hospital, where he restructures from the backside on one day, and a day later he'll go in through the front and restructure from in there. And it was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. And my rehab from that double fusion actually was a lot less trouble than from my microdiscectomy 5 years before. The results for me were astounding. I can't even put into words how I feel about the pain alleviation. I'm not depressed anymore. I am working out. I am doing all the things I never thought I would be able to do again. It's really been almost like a new beginning for me. At 62, I think that I'll probably live another 25 years of super healthy, active life. And I can't recommend the Center for Spine and Orthopedics any more highly than I am today. It's just it's really astonishing what they've accomplished with my spine. So I wish him all the best, and I just feel so fortunate to have met Dr. Janssen, because he's certainly one of the best in the world. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you, David.